So let me ask you something. What would you do if the power went out right now and did not come back for 7 days? No lights, no heating, no internet, no way to cook, no way to charge your phone, just you sitting in the dark hoping it comes back soon. Sounds dramatic, right? But here is the thing, it already happened. A few weeks ago, Spain and Portugal experienced a massive blackout. Millions of people, no power, complete chaos. Airports shut down, traffic lights stopped working, hospitals running on generators, people stuck in lifts for hours. And it lasted way longer than anyone expected. Now imagine that happening here in the UK. Our power grid is under more pressure than ever. We have had warnings about potential blackouts during peak winter demand. And with everything going on in the world, from extreme weather to cyber threats to infrastructure failures, the question is not if it will happen, it is when. So today, I am building something different. Not a bug-out bag for leaving your home. This is a complete home emergency kit. Everything you need to survive comfortably at home for 7 days during a blackout or major emergency. And I am doing it all for under 100 quid. Let me show you exactly what you need. But first, drop a comment right now. Have you ever experienced a power cut that lasted more than a few hours? Maybe during a storm or that big outage back in 2019. Let me know what happened and how you coped. I am genuinely curious because I think a lot of us do not realize how unprepared we actually are until it happens. Also, where are you watching from right now? London, Manchester, Scotland, somewhere rural where power cuts are more common? Your location really matters for this kind of prep, and I want to hear from all of you. Right, let us get into the kit. The first thing we need to talk about is the difference between a bug-out bag and a home emergency kit. A bug-out bag is for leaving, for grabbing and running when you need to evacuate. But statistically, most emergencies do not require you to leave your home. In fact, the official government advice for most situations is to shelter in place, stay home, and wait it out. So a home emergency kit is about making your home survivable and comfortable when the normal systems fail. No power, no gas, maybe no running water. For 7 days. That is the target. And here is the good news. Because you are staying home, you do not need to worry about weight or portability. You can stock up properly, you can have backup systems, you can actually be comfortable instead of just surviving. My budget for this build is £100. That might sound like a lot, but spread across everything you need for a week, it is actually quite tight. So I have had to be smart about what I prioritize. Let us start with the most important thing. Light. When the power goes out, especially in winter, it gets dark early and stays dark for a long time, and let me tell you, sitting in complete darkness does something to your head. It is disorienting, it is depressing, and it makes everything harder. So I have got multiple light sources here. First, these LED lanterns. I bought a pack of 2 for 12 quid. They take AA batteries, and each one lasts about 30 hours on a fresh set. The light is bright enough to illuminate a whole room, and they have a hook on top so you can hang them up. Why 2? Because you want light in multiple rooms. One for the living room where you will spend most of your time, and one for the kitchen or bathroom when you need it. I have also got this head torch, 6 quid. This is essential for when you need both hands free. Going to the toilet in the dark, cooking, finding things in cupboards. Trust me, you do not realize how much you rely on overhead lighting until it is gone. And finally, candles. Good old-fashioned candles. I got a big bag of tea lights, about 100 of them, for 4 quid, and some longer emergency candles for another 3 quid. Now, candles are not as bright as LEDs, but they provide warmth, they create ambiance, and they last forever. Plus, they do not need batteries. Quick safety note though, never leave candles unattended, keep them away from curtains and anything flammable, and make sure you have got a way to put them out quickly if needed. Total lighting cost so far 25 quid. And I have got enough light to keep my home bright for well over a week. Now, I want to ask you something. How many torches do you actually have in your house right now that work, that have batteries in them? Be honest in the comments. Most people have maybe one shoved in a drawer somewhere with dead batteries. This video is your reminder to sort that out. Alright, next up, heat. This is where things get serious, especially in the UK. If the power goes out in winter and your heating stops working, your home is going to get cold, fast. And cold is not just uncomfortable, it is genuinely dangerous, especially for elderly people, children, or anyone with health conditions. Now, I cannot include a full backup heating system in a 100 quid budget, but there are things you can do to stay warm without power. First, blankets. Lots of blankets. I am assuming you already have duvets and blankets in your home, so I am not adding these to the budget. But here is the key: layer them. Multiple thin layers trap more heat than one thick one. What I am adding to the kit is this emergency thermal blanket. 4 quid for a pack of 5. These are the shiny foil ones you see marathon runners wearing. They reflect your body heat back at you and can genuinely be life-saving in extreme cold. I have also got these hand warmers, same ones I mentioned in my bug-out bag video. 4 quid for a pack of reusable ones. Click the metal disc, they heat up for about an hour, then boil them to reset. But here is my secret weapon for staying warm at home: hot water bottles. You probably already have one somewhere. If not, they cost about 6 quid. Fill it with hot water, and it will keep you warm for hours. The key is heating the water, which brings me to cooking. You need a way to boil water and cook food without electricity. So I have got this small camping stove. This one cost me 15 quid. It runs on these butane gas canisters, and a 4-pack of canisters was another 8 quid. With this setup, I can boil water in about 3 minutes. That means hot drinks, hot food, and hot water bottles. It is a game changer for comfort and morale. Now, cooking indoors with a gas stove does require some caution. You need ventilation, so crack a window slightly. Never use it in a completely sealed room, and never leave it unattended. But used sensibly, it is perfectly safe and incredibly useful. Running total, 52 quid. And we have got lighting, basic heating solutions, and a way to cook. Let us talk about water next. Here is something most people do not think about. If there is a major power outage, there is a chance your water supply could be affected too. Water treatment plants need electricity. Pumping stations need electricity. If the outage is widespread or long enough, you could lose water pressure or have contaminated water coming through your taps. So, water storage, you need it. I have got these 5-liter water containers, pack of 2 for 8 quid. Fill them up now while the water is working and store them somewhere cool and dark. That is 10 liters of clean drinking water ready to go. But 10 liters is not enough for 7 days if you are using it for drinking, cooking, and basic hygiene. The general rule is about 2 liters per person per day minimum. So for one person for 7 days, you need at least 14 liters just for drinking. Here is my solution: fill your bathtub. If you get any warning that an outage is coming, fill your bathtub with water immediately. That gives you potentially 100 liters of water for flushing toilets, washing, and general use. You would not want to drink it after a few days, but it is fine for everything else. I have also got water purification tablets in this kit. Same ones from my bug-out bag. 3 quid for 50 tablets. If you are unsure about your water quality, these make it safe to drink. And here is a pro tip. Before any expected bad weather or emergency, fill every pot, pan, and container you have with water. You can never have too much stored water. Now, let me ask you this. How much water do you have stored in your home right now that is not coming from a tap? Probably none, right? Comment below if I am wrong, but most people rely completely on the tap working. And that is a vulnerability. Alright, food. Let us talk about what you should be eating during a 7-day blackout. The key principle here is food that does not need refrigeration and requires minimal cooking. Because here is what is going to happen when the power goes out. Everything in your fridge is on a timer. You have got maybe 4 hours before it starts warming up, and about 24 hours before things in your freezer start to thaw. So step 1 in any blackout: eat the perishables first. That fresh food in your fridge, cook it and eat it on day 1 before it goes bad. The meat in your freezer, cook it all while it is still frozen or just thawed. But after that, you need shelf-stable food. And that is what we are stocking. I have got tinned food here. Beans, soup, tinned vegetables, tinned fruit, tinned fish. A selection of about 15 tins costs me 12 quid from Aldi. These last for years, they are nutritious, and most of them can be eaten cold straight from the tin if needed. Not ideal, but possible. Pasta and rice. Cheap, filling, and last forever. A big bag of each for about 3 quid total. You will need to boil water to cook them, but that is what our camping stove is for. Instant noodles. 4 packs for 2 quid. Quick to cook, surprisingly satisfying when times are tough. Porridge oats, 1 quid for a big bag. Hot porridge in the morning will keep you going and keep your morale up. Peanut butter, 2 quid. High in calories, high in protein, lasts forever, and you can eat it straight from the jar with a spoon if needed. Crackers and biscuits, another 3 quid. Good for snacking and keeping energy levels stable. Coffee and tea, obviously. A jar of instant coffee, 2 quid. Box of tea bags, 1 quid. When everything has gone wrong, a hot cup of tea makes it all slightly more bearable. Very British, but very true. And do not forget a manual tin opener. 50 pence from a charity shop. All those tins are useless if you cannot open them. Total food cost. About 26 quid. And I have got enough variety to eat reasonably well for a week. Here is a question for you. If you had to survive on just the food currently in your cupboards for 7 days, no shops, no deliveries, could you do it? What would you actually eat? Comment below with your honest assessment. I think a lot of people would be shocked at how little long life food they actually have. Now let us talk about power. Not main electricity, obviously that is gone, but keeping your devices charged. Your phone is going to be essential during an emergency. It is your connection to news, to emergency services, to family and friends, but without power, that battery is going to drain fast. And once it is dead, it is just an expensive paperweight. So I have got two solutions here. First, this 20,000 milliamp hour power bank. Got it for 18 quid. This thing can charge my phone fully about 4 times. If I am careful about usage, that could last me most of the week. But here is the key. You need to keep this charged all the time. Not when an emergency happens, right now, today. Plug it in, top it up, and keep it ready. Same with your phone, laptop, and any other devices. When you hear warnings about potential outages, charge everything to 100%. Second, I have got this small solar panel charger. This was 12 quid. It is not fast, but on a sunny day, it can trickle charge my phone or power bank. Even in UK weather, you get some charge through clouds. It is a backup to the backup. I have also got a battery-powered radio, 7 quid from Argos. This might seem old-fashioned, but think about it. If the power is out, the internet might be down, cell towers might be overloaded. But radio broadcasts will still be working. This is how you will get emergency information, weather updates, and news about what is happening and when power might be restored. Running total. 89 quid. We are getting close to budget. Let me talk about information and planning for a minute. One thing that really helps during an extended emergency is knowing what to expect. So I have printed out some important information and put it in a waterproof folder. Emergency contact numbers. Not stored in your phone, actually written down. Because if your phone dies, do you actually know any phone numbers from memory? Most of us do not. Local emergency services and community resources. Where is your nearest hospital? Fire station? Community center that might be used as a warming shelter? A basic map of your local area. If you need to walk somewhere and your phone is dead, can you navigate? A list of vulnerable neighbors who might need checking on. Elderly people, people with health conditions, people who live alone. In a real emergency, communities need to look after each other. And finally, this kit checklist and instruction sheet. So if you are panicking and cannot think straight, you have got a simple guide to follow. All of this costs basically nothing. Just some printing and a plastic folder. Alright, let us talk about some bonus items that I have added to round out the kit. First aid supplies. I have covered this in detail in my bug out bag video, but you need basic medical supplies. Plasters, bandages, painkillers, antiseptic. If the power is out and emergency services are overwhelmed, you need to handle minor injuries yourself. Duct tape. 2 quid. Fixes everything, seriously. Broken windows, torn bags, improvised repairs. Never underestimate duct tape. Bin bags. 1 quid for a big roll. These have so many uses. Waterproofing, emergency rain cover, waste disposal when bins are not being collected, even emergency insulation if you stuff them with newspaper. Toilet paper. Obvious, but people forget. If you are in a city, you are closer to resources, but you are also dealing with more people, potential traffic chaos, and the social dynamics that come with urban emergencies. Know your escape routes, know your local community, and be prepared for things to get a bit more intense. Comment below with where you live, and any specific challenges you can think of. I would love to hear the unique situations different people are dealing with. Let me talk about mindset for a moment. The biggest survival tool you have is not in any kit, it is your head. When an emergency happens, most people go through the same stages. First, denial. This cannot be happening. Then, confusion. What do I do? Then, either panic or adaptation. Having a kit ready does not just give you supplies. It gives you confidence. When everyone else is panicking about where to find candles, you already have them. When people are wondering how to cook food, you already know. That mental advantage is huge. But here is the other thing. No kit replaces common sense and adaptability. Things will go wrong. Items will break or run out. You will face challenges you did not expect. The goal is not to have a perfect plan. The goal is to have a starting point that gives you time to figure things out. Practice with your kit before you need it. Use your camping stove on a normal day so you know how it works. Have a practice evening where you turn off all the lights and see what it is actually like. The more familiar you are with your equipment, the more effective you will be when it matters. And here is something important. Tell your family about the kit. Make sure everyone knows where it is, what is in it, and how to use the basic items. If something happens while you are not home, they need to be able to cope. Before I wrap up, let me give you a quick summary checklist of everything in this home emergency kit. Lighting: LED lanterns, head torch, candles, matches or lighters, spare batteries. Heat and shelter: thermal emergency blankets, hot water bottles, warm layers and blankets, hand warmers. Cooking: camping stove, gas canisters, lighter, pots for boiling water, manual tin opener, basic utensils. Water: water storage containers filled and ready. Water purification tablets, plan to fill bathtub if warned. Food: tinned goods, pasta and rice, instant noodles, porridge, peanut butter, crackers, biscuits, coffee and tea. Power and communication: charged power bank, solar charger, battery-powered radio, spare batteries. Information: emergency contacts written down, local maps, checklist and instructions. Extras: first aid kit, duct tape, bin bags, toilet paper. Entertainment: total cost under £100, storage required, one large box or cupboard space. Maintenance: check batteries and rotate food every 6 months. That is it. That is everything you need to survive comfortably at home for 7 days during a major power outage or emergency. Now I want to hear from you. What am I missing? What would you add to this kit? Drop a comment below because I know some of you have been thinking about this stuff for longer than me. Also, I asked this at the beginning, but I will ask again. Have you ever experienced an extended power cut? How did you cope? What do you wish you had? Share your stories because we can all learn from each other. And finally, what video should I make next? Should I do a deeper dive into home heating without electricity, a guide to food storage and rotation, maybe a budget generator setup, or testing this entire kit for a full 7 days in my home? Let me know in the comments what you want to see because I am building this channel based on what you actually want to watch. If you found this video useful, hit that like button. It really helps more people find this content. And if you are not subscribed yet, now is the time. Hit subscribe and the notification bell so you do not miss the next video. Remember, being prepared is not about living in fear. It is about living with confidence, knowing that whatever happens, you have got a plan and you have got the gear to back it up. Thanks for watching.